this final part of our... Thank you, Rekka. It's beautiful, isn't it? I'm very fond of it. I think it's rather lovely. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to be filming the retreat book this weekend, and I'm looking forward to showing my mat off. Oh, have you planted them up, Mel? Mel's got some fancy things to put her flowers in.
Yes.
She's calling them modular boxes, planting things. So, yeah, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to make this little wallet brag book. I don't know where I've put mine. My original. It might well be in here, actually, which is where it's supposed to be. No. Goodness knows where that's gone. It'll turn up one day. But here's one of the original ones that I made many, many years ago. And you can use these for 1,000,001 reasons. They are great to give away to family and friends. They're great for, you know, remembering just like afternoon tea, which, as I recall, is what this one was about. And just, you know, just... They're quick, easy makes, and they're really nice because you can build up a whole library of them, or you can just make them and give them away. Hi, Terry. I know you're not near Hurricane Laura. I know you're too south for her, aren't you?
Down south.
So this is one that I made, oh, I don't know how many years ago. And just to give you an example, it's got a little pocket here, which I just put a little photo mat in. And then it's got like well, you know, one of those faux waterfalls that we've looked at before, for just to put some photos in here. There's a story here because there's always a story. This is me, this is Mary, and this is Julie, and the three of us did A-level art together. And we did A-level art with the most amazing teacher, Mrs. Warner, and that's her. And we went off and had a nice afternoon tea. Look, I like that one. That's me and Mary. Mary was my best mate at school. We've known each other since we were 7, and she's an artist actually. And if you like the Celtic sort of style, go and have a look at the Lindisfarne Scriptorium. Do a search on Google for Lindisfarne Scriptorium, and you will find Mary. She's a proper artist, and see some of her work. It's absolutely beautiful. And so that was, yeah, that was the three of us having afternoon tea with our wonderful art teacher. So it's nice to look back on stuff. That's why we scrapbook, isn't it? I know. Anyway, that's what we're going to make tonight. I've lost my original, so don't know where that is. But before we get started, I was talking to Natalie earlier, and I just want to have a little quick word with you about the group that I run, which is called Paper, Scissors, Story. And I know if you've been making these things already, you'll know about the group, and you'll have been posting your makes in there, because that's how we're working out who gets the pencils. Oh, I've had mine, by the way. Who gets the pencils and is going to win this this book kit. But in that group, what I do is I teach mini book making. We have a class every Wednesday evening. Hi, Ruth. We have a class every Wednesday evening where we make a book. And I would say that the books that I make look complicated, but I honestly believe that you can make them yourself. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of some of the books that I've done. And you can find all of the classes for these still in the group. You can go back and watch them as often as you need to. A lot of them have got written instructions, and I've just popped up the written instructions for this one into the Falopolop group, so you can download that if you prefer to read rather than have me showing you what to do. But this is just an example of how we can use mini books for memory keeping, because that's why we make books. So this is a little folio that I made, and like I said, all of my classes are free. So you can go into the group, you can find out how to make these. You can either watch the video or you can download the written tutorials and then make them. But there is a condition, and the condition is I really want to see what you're making, because it makes me really happy to see. So feel free to post you know, in Paper Scissors Story when you're making some of the books. So it's really easy. You've got your waterfalls here. We've already made one of these faux waterfalls. Little pockets. We've made, well, we're going to make pockets tonight actually. So just really easy things. I don't want people to be scared of books. They're so easy to make. Quick, easy makes. They've always got a charm on. Always made by my lovely Mel. That's what she does. We've got this one, which is one of the favourites, I think, that people have really come to love. And this is what I call my Bloom Street book. And this is one that we made, I don't know, a couple of months ago now, over a period of time. And it's got everything in like hidden hinge binding, but it's easy to follow because it's a book of 4 pages, but the pages are actually, there's only 2 styles, so it's nice and easy to make. And I'm sure you recognise these gorgeous papers because this is Bloom Street by Paige Taylor Evans, and we all love her work if we are scrapbookers. So this book is full of little tucks for you to put your photo mats in. You know, lots of spaces for photos and for remembering. I know Ellie has made an absolutely stunning version of this as a memory book for, am I right, Ellie? It was a friend of your mum's who sadly passed away, and you made this into a book for her family to keep with photographs in it. And when I was talking to Natalie earlier, one of the things that she suggested was that if you've made some of my books, because they're about memory keeping, because they are just another way that we can share our photos, do pop them in for the love of pretty paper, because it's all memory keeping. So, you know, if you want to go and show some of the stuff that you've done, it's perfectly acceptable and really encouraged if you want to put them in for Lopalop as well. So Ellie, your book was absolutely stunning, and it was a prime example of why we do this. So this is what we call my Bloom Street book. Dead easy to make. I know it doesn't look it, but it really is. And I take you through, like I've done over the last 3 weeks, step by step how to put that book together. This is one of my favourites. This, like I said, this is also, you know, in the group. All the instructions are there for you. And this is what I call my rolled up mini. And it's a little bit more unusual because it actually rolls out. And I've used Cartabella Home Again paper, I think, for this one. So it's a long book. It rolls out. There's lots of it on both sides.
And it says, would you like to post it on here?
You what, sorry? Yeah, post it in for Lopalop, Ellie. If you wouldn't mind, it would be lovely for people to see what they can do with books, because it is just another form of memory keeping. And I think if we can encourage people to, you know, to make books, that would be ace. So that's my rolled up mini, and like I said, these classes are absolutely free to take part, you know, in my group. And then just quickly, before we get on to class tonight, this is an example of the next book that we're going to make in the Paper Scissors Story group. So this one's a bit more about the paper rather than the memory keeping to some extent, even though obviously there is room for photographs here. So there's spaces here to put like 6x4 photos, but we do all sorts of different styles of books. And it would be lovely if I could think that maybe the last month I've encouraged you to look at mini bookmaking as a form of memory keeping. So do please join the group. We'd love to have you there. I'd hate to think that we've done this month together and you know, you're not going to take it any further. So you would be so welcome. But don't forget to post what you've already made or what you might make in the future in Flopalop. Right, that's me finished. So class, ladies and gents, let us get on. Now, I did have a cutting guide. So this is dead easy because it uses A4 card. Now, A4 card in the UK is a different size to A4 in other places. So I'm talking, when I say A4 card, I'm talking about card that is 11 3/4 by 8 1/4 inches. That Christmas journal, it was Luann, Ruth. Oh, stunning, absolutely stunning. And we've got a Christmas book coming up. I've just found out today that the papers will be arriving in the next week or so. So, you know, there's so much coming up. And like I said, I think that the bonus is that my classes are free to take part. I do kits, which you can purchase if you want to, but there is no obligation at all. Right. Very nice, Celia. I'm not jealous at all. Righty-ho. Okay, so for this book, you're going to need 4 sheets of A4 card. I'm going to use white. So the first thing to do is grab your card and grab your trimmer. So I can put this down now and not have it like wobble everywhere, which is rather nice. So let me just grab some card. Oh, I tidied up and can't reach anything now. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut that long bit, the back of, you know, the whole sort of cover of the book. And I want you to take a piece of A4, which, like I said, in England, in the UK, is 11 3/4 inches. So if you're watching and taking part from somewhere that isn't the UK, that is 11 3/4 inches. So what I'm going to say is cut at 6 3/4 inches by your length of A4, which is 11 3/4. Okay, so that's one piece. Then I want you to cut 3 pieces of card that are 4 1/2 by 6 1/4 inches. So if I measure that there, just cut that at 6 1/4, and then I'm going to cut these at 4 1/2, and I'll get 2 out of a sheet of UK A4. And these are going to be our photo mats. Okay, and I'm going to need 1 more. So 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. Okay, now we need to cut our pocket size, and you might find that a piece of card that you've already got left over will fit this, although it might not. But we're going to cut our pocket at 2 3/4 by 7 3/4 inches. No, I haven't got a piece wide enough. So 2 3/4. Let's see, 2 3/4 by 7 3/4 inches. Okay, and then the last piece that I need to cut is the insert. Evening, Jane. And that is one piece at 6 1/4 by 3 1/2 inches. So 6 1/4 by 3 1/2 inches. Okay, and that's us all cut. So we can pop our trimmer away. So next, what I want you to do is grab your scoreboard if you've got one. If you haven't got a scoreboard, don't panic, Mr. Mannering, because you can use your trimmer. I know I've said this before, but if you weren't here previously, this is an example. My trimmer here has a groove where the blade goes when I use my trimmer, and I can use that as a score line, and then use you know, one of those fancy ball embossing tools to make my score line, or I can use a empty biro. I can use an empty biro and a ruler and just measure it, and then just use my empty biro to make the score line on that. So don't worry if you haven't, or a bit, or a stick. Yeah, that would do, actually. That would do. Yeah, a bone folder, or the end of a pencil, or something that's not going to rip your paper. So don't worry if you haven't got the tools. because there's always a ray round it. So this piece, which we cut first, was 6 3/4 by 11 3/4. We're going to score on the 11 3/4 inch side, which means we pop that at the top of our scoreboard if we're using a scoreboard. And we are going to score at 2 1/4 inches. And we are going to score at 7 1/4 inches. Oh. I'm glad that, do you know, is Mel still here? Because Mel made the most incredible folio without a scoreboard, and she used well, I'm not sure whether it was at the end of a paintbrush or what it was to score things, but she managed it without you know, a fancy scoreboard at all, and it was so impressive. It's amazing what you can get to work, Sally Ann, it really is. Okay, so now I want you to take those other 3 pieces that we've cut, the bits that I said with the photo mats, and I want you to score on the 4 1/2 inch side at 1/4 inch. You should pop it in the group, Mel. I still can't get over how you managed to make such an incredible book with no scoreboard. Absolutely amazing, and it just goes to show what you can do without the fancy tools. Now, having said that, you can't beat having a scoreboard. If Sue is about, Sue will tell you obviously having a scoreboard makes a massive difference, but it doesn't mean that it's compulsory, if you see what I mean, because you don't want to be spending out money unless you're sure that this is something that you want to do. Right, okay, so I've scored 1/4 inch on the 4 1/2 inch side on each of those 3 photo maps.
Mel says great teacher, but she qualifies it with a
lol.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes without saying, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look, not that bit. That's me thingy. Right, so the last bit that we've got to score is our pocket. And we cut this at 7 3/4
Or 2 3/4.
by 2 3/4. Did we? Yeah. It's alright, it just looks really short on here. Alright, anyway, we're going to score on the 7 3/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and we're going to score at 7 1/4 inches. We're going to turn it round 90 degrees, and we're going to score on the 2 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. That's definitely chopped too short. Well, that was my mistake, it doesn't matter. Okay. Right. I'm not a bad influence at all, Sally Ann. I'm a fantastic influence. Mini bookmaking is brilliant. Years and years of endless fun. Right, okay, so this is so easy. What we're going to do now is we are going to fold our wallet. So we've got our back piece here, which has the shorter bit at the top. That's going to be this bit here. Let me fold this out and then you can see. So that's going to be our bit that folds over. Then we've got this space here, which is where we're going to put our photo mats. And then we've got this bit down here, which is where we're going to put the pocket. So we need to fold this in a gatefold way. So fold up that bottom one. I'm going to get my bone folder. Just give that a good burnish. And then we're going to fold that one over. Make sure it's lined up and burnish that one too.
Oh, yes.
So this is what...
Scoreboard is called Bry.
Oh yes, of course it is called Bry. And your label is called Dan. Of course it is, Mel. Right, okay. So that's the actual back of the book, for want of a better description.
She scores with Bry.
I don't think you should say that out loud.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
Right, our photo mats, you've got this little 1/4 of an inch score line here. So carefully, you just want to fold those over on the score line. I don't think that's very straight, that score line. I'll hide that one at the bottom. So fold over each of them and just use your bone folder, or you can use the edge of a ruler if you haven't got a bone folder, and just score those. Oh, now I'll let you off, seeing as it's you. You've missed the best bit. Do you like my new mat?
The mat reveal.
Yeah, my mat reveal. That was definitely the best bit. Right, okay, so that's all scored and ready. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at our pocket, which is this bit with the 3 intersecting score lines here. And as you can see, we've got these little squares here, and we want to get rid of those. We want to mitre our corners, which means chopping those bits off, so that when we fold, I'll be using my crocodile in a bit, Ellie. When we fold these over, we're not going to get a really bulky corner, because that's the last thing we want, is a bulky corner, because it means our pocket will not sit flat at all, and we don't want that. So I'm going to give you a little, pardon?
I hate when my pocket sticks out.
Yes. Moving swiftly on. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, right. So you can just mitre straight across. But I don't do that. Because this is what Mel calls kinky mitering. And there is a reason for it. So I'll show you what I do. You can see here that we've got these two interlocking, intersecting score lines. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to snip. Hang on, I'll take my glasses off. I'm just going to snip up to that score line where they both intersect. Now I could go straight across, but if I do that, when I fold it into my pocket shape, it might mean that it kind of sometimes doesn't sit flat, because it still sits on top of each other and makes it a bit bulky. So what I do is I snip down to that score line, and then I turn my scissors a little bit, and then I snip it like that. So you can see that that angle there isn't straight. It's not straight at all. I've kinked it off. So this is what Mel always calls kinky mitering, but it works better. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Ignore the fact that that looks a bit narrow. I think I cut it badly. So snip up to where the score lines intersect, move your scissors and snip like that. So once again, you've got your mitered corner, but it's not straight. Then to make the pocket, all you have to do is just fold on these score lines like that.
Some would call it a kinky mitre.
Mel calls it a kinky mitre. And then just burnish. Okay, so that's all the bits of our book, mitered, cut, whatever. And now we're going to get on with putting it together. Now, one of the things that you can do to make it look pretty is you can round your corners, because it always looks pretty to round your corners. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to round all 4 corners on my backing piece. I'm going to round the corners on my photo mats, the corners that are furthest away from this flap that we've cut. And then finally, I'm going to just round the corners on my insert. Okay. Now, I've found that when I'm matting my, or decorating up my backing, it's actually easier to mat certainly this bit before you go to put your photo mats in. So I've tidied up, which means I have no idea where I've put the papers that I was using. Oh, I say that, they're here. So I'm just going to grab some papers. And I'm actually going to decorate this bit up before I come to put my photo mats on. I think I'll go with that one. So, ruler. Had it earlier. No idea where it's gone. Oh. Have to use big ruler. Oh. No, everything's falling down. So I'm going to mat this first, and it is, oh yeah, 6 3/4. I knew that. 6 3/4 by 5 inches. So just that won't sit straight. What am I doing wrong here? So when I mat things, I tend to cut 1/8 of an inch smaller than the size. So I said 6 3/4, didn't I? Did I? Yeah. So I'm going to cut that at 6 5/8. So while I'm here, I might as well mat that, which is 2 1/4. And then, what did I say that was? 5. Okay, I'm just going to put the rest of that to one side for now. Okay, so that bit's going to go up there. So I'm just going to round the corners of that one. If you want to ink your edges, ink your edges. I'm not going to. Oh. Just pop that on there. Oh dear, I'm making a right pig's ear of this. It's my new mat, I blame totally.
Whoops.
Okay, and now I'm just going to mat that bit there. Okay, right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my photo mats on. And this is exactly, do you know what, Rachel, I agree with you. I thought afterwards I should have used the trucks. They were a bit prettier, weren't they? I know. This is exactly like the faux waterfall that we did a couple of weeks ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach each of these photo maps to the back, this back bit of our wallet. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that 1/4 of an inch fold there. I have to do this way up, and I'm going to centre it side to side, but put it towards the top of where I've matted my paper. So you just check. So what I've done there is I've put it right at the very top where that matted paper is. If you're not matting at this point, don't put this photo mat right up to your score mark, because it just won't sit flat when you come to fold it up. Okay, it just won't. So you've got that bit on there. Okay, now the next one exactly the same way we did the faux waterfall in part 2. We're just going to pop some glue onto that flap and line it up to the bottom of this flap that we've already stuck down. So line that up and just make sure that when you fold that over that these line up, okay, because that just looks much tidier. And these photo mats that we've got here, they are exactly the right size for a standard 6x4 photo. So with the last one, which I've folded very badly because it's not straight, but it doesn't matter too much, I'm just going to add that into the bottom there. So that's my last photo mat. As you can see, it just fits. Let's get that straight, not quite. There we go. Okay. So now I've got my inside of my flap, and I've got my 3 photo mats in place for that faux waterfall. So you can just pop your photos on there, and if you want to put some of your pattern paper along there as well, you can do, just to finish it off. Okay, Ruth, I'm really glad to hear you say that. I think the mat's much better now. Right, see you later, Ruth. Right, so what we've got to do now is add our pocket. Now, you could add the pocket down there because logically you're going to take this out of there. However, when you come to fold it up, your things can fall out. So bizarrely, that's why I've put it that way round, which I know looks a little bit strange, but there was method to my madness. So I'm going to add that little pocket there. So I'm going to put some glue on the flaps of my pocket. I'm going to attach it onto this flap of the wallet. Side to side, it will fit exactly, but I don't want it to go all the way up so that it sits exactly on that score line. I want it to be a little bit away, and I'll show you in a minute. And the reason for that is if you don't move it a little bit away, when you fold your wallet up, it's not going to sit straight. So here's my score line, and then my pocket is just a little bit away. So when I come to put my thing in there now, when I fold it up, everything will stay together quite nicely. Okay, so now we can decorate up the rest of it. So let me just see what size my pocket is. You think I'd know this, really? I've made hundreds of these. Right, 2 1/4. So let me just see which way round. There we go. 2 1/4. And that leaves me this bit here. So I'm just gonna mat that pocket. And then this piece, which is, as you can see, too long, actually is going to help us make our wallet just that little bit more professional looking. Because what we're going to do, even though it's too long, is we're going to pop some glue on the back, or tape, or whatever you want to use. And we are going to slip this just inside the pocket that we've just made, like that. Because that just makes our whole thing just look that little bit more professional than say stopping the paper a little bit further up. Okay, so that's the inside decorated. This bit I can decorate up with my paper. I can mat that, or I can just put a photo on it or whatever. But now I'm going to decorate the outside, and I'm going to do this now because I want, oh put something on my mat.
No.
Oh no. Because I want to talk to you about closures. Rachel, it is easy. Trust me. They are far easier than you think. Right, so once again, I've forgotten what size these were. So let me find some paper. Ooh, kind of like that one. Although the green goes, no, the green goes nice. Right, let's have the green. And it was 6 3/4, wasn't it, width? Yeah. So I'm going to cut my pattern paper at 6 3/4, but just less. So this is going to be 6 5/8, and I'm going to cut it at 2 1/4, just under. Five, just under. And then finally 4 1/2, just under. Okay. So let's decorate that up. Let me just make sure that I've got these all lined up. Nope. Nope. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I've cut that too big. What was I doing? What size did I say? Oh, it's not going to line up now. 2 1/4. Oh well, never mind.
You live in London.
You do. So 2 1/4, just under. Let's see if I've measured that. What am I doing it? Oh no, that's the wrong bit. It's the new mat, it's confusing me.
Want some more chips?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to trim that down a bit. It's just a little bit too big for my liking. And now I carefully did all these so that it looked all nice and tidy and matched up. Now it's not, but I don't really care that much. As long as it's the right way up, that will do. Okay, and then our final piece, which I've measured wrong as well.
On a roll.
I am. Well, it would be awful if I always got it right. People would think I was superhuman or something.
I do.
I know you do. Right. Okay. Let's just pop that on there like that. Right, so that is the base matting of my book all done. Okay, so there's a number of ways that I can do a closure. I can do, like, you know, the policy envelope style where you use a circle punch and then put a brad through and then put your ribbon that goes round like that, or this one that I showed you earlier. What I've done is I've used my crocodile and I've I've made, I've just put a, what do you call it, an eyelet in there, and then just wrapped some twine. But you can also use ribbon. There's all sorts of ways that you can do it. So if I just measure where the middle is of this, right, Mark, what's half of 6 3/4?
3 and 3/8.
3 3/8. Oh, I should have used my. I've got my Minibook Magnus pencil, and I meant to use it tonight. And I've left it downstairs. 3 3/8. If I just make a little mark there, and I get my crocodile, which is somewhere on the floor. I can make a hole. I don't know where my eyelets have gone. No idea. Anyway, I could put an eyelet on there and then get some ribbon, which I also haven't got because I'm disorganised tonight, and just wrap that through. And then it's just a case of doing the fun bit, which of course is decorating. And you can do this in many different ways. This one, these are what I call doodle flowers. And if you go into Paper Scissors Story, there's actually I have like a OneDrive where I keep all of the information on the books, and there's all the tutorials and classes and whatever. And I did one class on making paper flowers for the front of books or journals or scrapbooking or whatever. And this is one of the flowers that we made, this doodle flower. So that's certainly something that you can do. I can't reach the others, Mark, can you? You probably won't be able to get at them. They're right at the top there, look.
Which one?
Those two. No, don't worry about it.
I'm stood up there.
Oh, hang on.
What, these?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, just pull it. Right, so this was another... squished. This was another one that I made, because they're good for all sorts of different purposes. And I've decorated this one up. I've got a flare button. Nat, I've got a flare button. Use Nat's flare buttons. I've used some die cuts. I've used some ephemera. Here I've put 2 eyelets in for this ribbon. Closure. And then you open it up. I've got my I put this one the other way round, but this has got all sorts of little bits and pieces in it. And then obviously space for photos. That one I matted differently and I didn't like it, which is why I mat it first now, because I didn't like the way that turned up. This is another one using my favourite graphic 45. I've used 2 ribbons together here just because I think it looks really pretty. And then I've used my design paper to cut out bits and added some gems and things. Oh, there's me and my daughter. There's some tags at the bottom here, so you can use this in many ways. There's no limit to this and your imagination and how you put them together. So like on the front of this one, I've got some cutter parts that I had a little bit ago that I've lost. I can use my cutter parts and put them on there. I can, make my own flowers. I can use paper flowers. I can use my thickers, die cuts, whatever. The only limitation is your imagination. So, how easy was that? And you can use it, like I said, for 1,000,001 purposes. So, I hope you enjoyed that. As far as I'm concerned, that's all we need to do tonight. Can't wait to see what you make. Pop them in Falopalop. Pop them in Paper Scissors Story into the special albums that we've both set up. Can't remember what the closing date is, Nat. Is it the 9th? Is it the 9th of September? And then we'll do the draw for the pencil, and also Mark and I are donating a mini book kit to a lucky winner, but you have to put your photos of your work in both groups. So I hope that's okay. I'm really sad now because I have loved my 4 weeks here. I tell anybody who'll listen that Falopalop is my absolute favouriteest scrapbooking group. I just love it. I just love the feel of the community and the inspiration. I mean, I look at things that you guys make in the group and I'm just gobsmacked by the sheer talent. I love everything that I see in Falopalop. So thank you so much for having me. I'll be knocking about because I'm never very far away. It's one of my go-to groups. But please do join me in Paper Scissors. Because, you know, we make lots of books and it's just another way to keep your memories alive. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for having me and Mark, and we will hopefully, because I think we've behaved quite well, hopefully we'll be asked back at some point. So we will see you really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Oh.